We're here, Sandbridge, once again, right here at the ocean where Tuna Lane, we're seeing, since we just looked last, this fence is now knocked down in the past 30 seconds.
This tree is at least 60 feet tall, and we can see here where it took out both fences to the homes. But once again, it fortunately didn't hit either of the houses. Well, Regina, there is a gaping hole in the front of 7-Eleven now, wider than my arm span. I just spoke with Rachel Henry here. She said that she was one of the first people to arrive as fire crews were arriving, so she had a sense of how the fire started to spread. Tell me what you saw.
Yeah, some of the bystanders that...
Another gentleman that I want to talk to here. Sir, I didn't get a chance to ask you for your name. You live across the street, though, you tell me.
I do. 633. Name's Doug Stump.
Doug, tell me about what you saw this afternoon.
It moved so quick with the wind. The wind just, you could just see it blowing, and it was just blowing to the next house and the next house.
Are you okay?
I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
More than 20 evidence markers around that truck. You see those boots there. We believe both the victims to be men, but we have not gotten any confirmation as to the ages or their identities to this point.
Khalif Bryan is live with our top story for us this afternoon. Good afternoon, Khalif.
Good afternoon. Well, let me walk you through exactly what we understood happened. The school bus was coming down here on Paladin Drive and actually stopped at that corner. And coming this direction on Chester Street was that truck. It went around the school bus, which had its lights on, and then for some reason swerved up onto that yard where a father and 3 children were walking to the school bus. You can see the pieces of these decks now slapping against the dunes where they once stood, and continuing on in this soupy mess of just torn up decks, sticks, wood. We see now probably the most dramatic image so far of destruction with Hurricane Sandy, and that's this pool at this house. You can see that the pool sank. It was built into the dune, and at some point the structure gave way, and that pool is now broken into pieces with the concrete and chunks of it sitting on the beach below. Condemning words from Virginia Beach Public Health after receiving this photo, apparently showing rats on the kitchen floor of the Waffle House on Indian River Road.
It was determined by the licensed pest control operator that they do have roof rats there. 13 News started investigating the Waffle House's rat problem after speaking to a grossed out employee.
I was like, man, I can't serve people. That's wrong. I can't serve people like that, man. That's just disgusting.
Waffle House closed Tuesday afternoon at the request of a public health inspector. She and an exterminator found a hole where rats were getting inside. We tried to talk with management Tuesday about what was going on. Sir, we're hearing reports of rats. What have you learned about the rat situation? Following up with Waffle House corporate headquarters, a spokesperson said senior management is taking action.
The area vice president also met with the pest control company, was out there today, and they were talking about just preventative measures to make sure that they aren't having any ongoing problems.
The restaurant only stayed closed a few hours to make repairs, and Wednesday morning a health inspector came again, this time giving approval. But the scrutiny isn't over.
We're going to have an increased presence in there, more than we normally would, unannounced, to make sure that they're doing what we've asked them to do.
Coyotes are right here, looking at us.
Melinda Scott had a coyote encounter she still can't believe was real.
And the only thing I had was, pajamas and a pair of muck boots and a fly swatter.
Scott let 3 of her dogs out front early Thursday morning when she says 2 coyotes attacked them.
The coyotes were right out here, and I'm just running around trying to grab any dog that I can.
Armed with just a fly swatter, Scott ran after the coyotes, which she says were skinny but almost as tall as her Weimaraner, JJ.
You think a fox, and the fox is small. You wouldn't think that, the coyotes would be so large. They're large.
Scott brought the dogs inside and called 911. By the time Virginia Beach police arrived, the coyotes were gone. The next morning, she realized her 7-month-old Corgi Miles had a badly swollen paw. X-rays show he has a broken bone along a growth plate, which could cause a permanent limp.
Everybody needs to be aware that the coyotes are out here.
Wildlife managers say coyote sightings have become more and more common over the last few years in Pongo, though experts can't say for sure if their populations are increasing very much. Scott runs the Easy Does It horse ranch, and she says personally she's seen a dark and a light-colored coyote, each working together more than once.
This is the second time they have been here in my yard But this time they actually got a hold of the corgi.
Scott's not necessarily worried about the horses on her ranch getting hurt by the coyotes. It's some of her neighbors that have small animals. She says they need to be on the lookout for the coyotes and report them to animal control. In Pungo, I'm Cleve Bryan, 13 News.